Hello, students. Today we are going to start our second chapter of chemistry acids, bases, and salt. As you studied in your previous classes, that acids are the substance that are sour in taste, and bases are the one that are bitter in taste. But in your higher classes, in your 10th class, you are going to learn about a different concept of acid and bases, which is Arrhenius concept. So let's start the lesson. Students, so far there are 118 known elements we have. These elements are grouped into three categories, namely metals, non-metals, and metalloids. So these metals, non-metals, and metalloids, they form various helpful compounds which we use in our day-to-day life. But there is an interesting thing, like every substance has a physical properties as well as a chemical properties. Likewise, these all compounds have chemical properties, and the chemical properties grouped into three categories. First, acids, second is bases, and third is salts. So we will discuss these three categories one by one. So starting with acids, the concept of acids in your 10th class is based on Arrhenius concept. Now, what is Arrhenius concept? So, Arrhenius was a chemist and a scientist who gave a definition for acids as well as bases. So, let's see what he stated. Arrhenius said if we have an acid, like for example, we have a hydrochloric acid here. Hydrochloric acid, chemical formula we have is capital HCl, right? Correct. So when we dissolve any or when we add any acid, you can take any acid available to you in water. Whenever it is poured in water, let me give a symbol to it. Let, for example, when it is poured in water, the HCl dissociates or split into ions, namely cations and anions. So it gives cation, which is a protium ion or hydrogen ions, and another anion. So basically, Arrhenius said the acids are the one that releases H plus ions when dissolved in water, right? So these are the common acids you already familiar with. For example, let's see, this is an acetic acid. Acetic acid is your vinegar, or you can say commonly sirka. Citric acid, which is present in various citrus fruits available. Formic acid. This formic acid is present in the sting of ant. And here we have some another acids, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid. These acids are easily available in your laboratory. Okay, student. So up next we have is acids classification. So acids are classified into different categories. So let's talk about the first categories. So first category says the source of acid. So we obtain acids from two different sources. One is naturally and another is artificially or by man-made. So the acids which are present naturally in plants and animals are known as organic acids. Correct? Or inorganic acids are the one that are prepared using the minerals present in earth. It will be clear to you by seeing the example. So here you can see, so here are some examples of organic acid. Okay, so here is an example. The name of acid is lactic acid. The lactic acid is naturally present in your curd as well as milk. In spinach, we have oxalic acids. Citric acid is present in oranges, lemons, and all the other citrus fruit. Malic acid is present in your apple, and you have rest examples. You can go through all the examples. So here you can see these acids are not synthesized by men, the human being. They are naturally present in the substances. So they are organic acids. Whereas your nitric acid, sulfuric acids are the one which are chemically prepared using the minerals. Minerals like sulfur. We use sulfur for sulfuric acid. We use nitrogen. We use nitrites for making nitric acid. So these are your inorganic acids. Now, next category we have is the acid on the basis of strength. So before going in detail with the topic, let's think of a question. So, as we said, that the acids are, as you already know, that acids are sour in taste, correct? As well as they are very corrosive. Corrosive means they burn the cloth or your skin when you pour over it. So, but these acids we consume in our day-to-day life. These acids do not cause any harm to us. So, what exactly wrong with this acid? Why they are not harming to us? Answer is your strength. So, acids have two categories: strong acids and weak acids. So, strong acids are the one that gives large amount of hydrogen ions in water, whereas your weak acid are the one that gives less amount of hydrogen ions in water. For example, this is a container you have and another container you have, correct? We have taken water in them. आपको पता है that water का formula is H2O, correct? This H2O is made up of H plus ions, correct? As well as OH minus ions, right? So water has both the ions, H plus ions or OH minus. Okay? So water is neutral, right? Because it has same amount of H plus and same amount of OH minus, correct? But when we add acid to it, when we add acid to it, what happens if an acid breaks completely or dissociate completely into H plus ions and give large amount of ions? That acid is known as a strong acid. Whereas on this hand, here you can see, here it is an acid. It is not completely dissociated. आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे complete dissociation नहीं हुआ है. We are not getting the large amount of H plus ions here. So it is a weak acid. So the answer to the question asked previously is that the consumable acids, basically the consumable acids, for example, vinegar, citric acid, lactic acid, all these acids are weak acids. So that's why they do not cause any harm to our inner lining of the skin. Correct? Up next, we have the water content on the basis of water content. Let's see what is it. So you must have came across the term concentrated acid or as well as diluted acid, right? Or sometimes in your laboratory you have seen a signal like this, caution. कॉशन लिखा होता है ऐसे करके, सिंबल्स के बाहर, सॉरी, आपके केमिकल्स के बाहर. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन? That says the acids are harmful to us, right? Let's see, are they actually harmful to us or not? Okay. So first is your dilute acid or diluted acid. We understand this by the example again. We take two containers of same size, right? Pour equal amount of water in both the containers. Sorry, here you can take, for example, here I am taking 3 ml of water. Here the water content is 5 ml. We take different water content in both the containers, right? Now pour same acid of same amount. For example, I am taking here 5. Okay, let's make it 6. So here you can see this one is your concentrated and this one is your diluted because it has less water content and it has more water content. So जिसके अंदर पानी का content ज़्यादा होगा comparatively, that is your diluted acid. And the pure form of acid जिसके अंदर या तो पानी बिल्कुल नहीं होगा या फिर पानी का amount ज़्यादा होगा, that is your concentrated acid. ये इन दोनों को अगर कंपेयर करेंगे तो ये वाला डाइल्यूट होगा और ये वाला कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड होगा, राइट? अच्छा, again here you can see an image which says always add acid to water. But why? Why not water to acid? The answer to your question is you can see the answer. Because what happens when you add water to acid? I repeat, when you add water to acid, the reaction is highly exothermic. It releases large amount of heat. Now that heat converts water into gaseous state, that is your steam. It changes the state of water basically. It changes it into steam, and you know steam has large amount of latent heat of vaporization, and steam causes severe burns. That is the reason we never add water to acid. Always acid is added to the water. Okay, now let's move on to bases quickly. So bases are the one according to Arrhenius which when dissolved in water releases OH minus. OH means hydroxide ions अगर वो release करेंगे water में, that substance is known as base. So bases are also classified into categories. So we have bases on the base. We have bases on the category of strength. So we have two type of bases, strong bases and weak bases. Again, the strong base is the one that gives large amount of hydroxide ions. जो ज़्यादा amount में hydroxide ions को release करेगा, that is your strong base. Whereas the weak bases are the one that releases less amount of hydroxide ions into the water. For example, this is NaOH. Na. After dissolving in water, it breaks down and gives like this. It gives two ions, Na plus and OH minus ion. Likewise with the KOH. Okay. So we have another category. There are some bases which are soluble in water. So these soluble bases are called alkali. Important thing to remember. So these are the common bases we have. We have ammonia, which is used in fertilizers, sodium hydroxide for making shampoos, detergent, your cleaners, or magnesium hydroxide, which is used as a medicine called antacid. This antacid kills the effect of acidity in your stomach. As you know, HCl is present in your stomach. When there is an excess amount of HCl released in the stomach, it causes acidity. So, a doctor suggests antacids because antacid kills the effect of your acid. Okay, so here is the basic properties of acids which we have already studied. You can go through it and read it carefully. Now, next topic is your chemical properties of acids and bases. Okay, so far we have studied the general properties. Now, let's see how we are going to separate acid and bases. For example, I give you a query. If we have a unknown substance in front of us, how we are going to detect whether it is an acid or a base? You probably say, ma'am, by tasting it. Okay, you might be right, but important thing is here to know that tasting is not the ultimate solution because the acids and bases are corrosive in nature. They can harm the human body. They can harm you. So, what are the properties, chemical properties that helps in distinguishing between acid and base? So the first one is very common, which is the indicators. So in your lower classes, you must have came across the term indicators. So what are indicators, students? Indicators are basically the chemical dye which help in detecting whether the given substance is acid or base. But how they are going to do that? They are going to do that by changing the color and the odor of the substance. या तो वो उस सब्सटेंस का कलर चेंज कर देंगे या फिर उस सब्सटेंस के वो स्मेल को चेंज कर देंगे. करेक्ट. इस बेसिस पर हमारे पास चार तरीके के इंडिकेटर्स होते हैं. वी हैव फोर टाइप्स ऑफ इंडिकेटर्स, बट फर्स्ट three are very common. The fourth one we are going to discuss in the later lessons. First, we'll talk about only first three. Okay. The first one is natural indicators. Natural indicators, as the name suggests, they are obtained from natural sources. For example, your red cabbage, turmeric, litmus. Next, we have synthetic indicators. Synthetic means they are artificially prepared by using chemical substance. So the examples are phenolphthalein and methyl orange. Up next we have is olfactory indicators, very important. Olfactory indicators, basically there are various receptors in our body, right? Receptor means, as you know, we have five sense of organs, correct? So these sense of organs detect various, uh, you can say, the substances, various sensation, right? So olfactory indicators or olfactory is the olfactory receptors are the one that detect the smell, correct? So olfactory indicators are the one that helps in detecting the substance is acid or base by changing the smell of the substance. जो given substance होगा, for example अगर हमने vanilla essence ले लिया, vanilla essence, as you know, it is used in the bakery industries, ice cream बनाने में, cake बनाने में, we use it frequently, correct? So vanilla essence, I'm sorry, vanilla essence को के अंदर अगर हम acid डालें एक सिचुएशन में और दूसरी सिचुएशन में अगली बार हम बेस को ऐड करें, so the smell of vanilla essence is going to change. For example, when we add base to the vanilla essence, when we add any base, the smell of vanilla essence vanishes. आपको स्मेल आनी बंद हो जाएगी. But when we add any acid to vanilla essence, smell sustain, smell vanilla की रहती है. Likewise, we have the last one is universal indicator, which we are going to discuss in later classes. Okay. And now let's see, students, how these natural indicators and synthetic indicators react with acid and bases. Okay. So let's start with the natural indicators. So first we have is litmus. So first thing you should know that litmus is prepared from a plant, you can say, called lichen. Yes, ये lichen से बनता है, LICHEN. So lichen से बनता है, it is actually purple in color, right? So what happened if you add acid to it, it turns red. If you add base to it, it turns blue. Now we have red cabbage. रेड कैबेज को आप एक्सट्रैक्ट, आप रेड कैबेज का जूस ले सकते हैं. यू कैन यूज दैट जूस फॉर डिटेक्टिंग एसिड है कि बेस है कोई भी सब्सटेंस. सो रेड कैबेज के अंदर अगर हम कोई भी एसिड डालेंगे तो सब कलर चेंज नहीं होगा रेड कैबेज का, इट विल रिमेन रेड. वेयर एज जैसे ही आप जैसे ही आप रेड कैबेज के अंदर बेस ऐड करोगे, इट विल टर्न ग्रीन. So there is a plant called hydrangea which is blue in color. It remains blue in case of acidic and changes its color to pink when basic solution is added to it. Very homely indicator we have is because it is easily available in our home. Turmeric, correct? So turmeric, the natural color of turmeric as you know is yellow. In acidic solution, it remains yellow. So there will be no change. But when basic solution like soap solution is added to it, the color changes to reddish brown. So these are the your natural indicators. Let's move to synthetic indicators. Synthetic indicators we have is phenolphthalein and we have methyl orange. So phenolphthalein is basically a colorless liquid, right? So when you add drops of when sorry when you add few drops of acid to phenolphthalein, there is no change, it remains colorless. But when you add base to it, it changes to. Likewise, methyl orange ke saath bhi, it is orange in color as the name suggests. When you add acid to it, it changes to red, and when you add base to it, it changes to yellow. So these are how indicators react with acid and base.
Understanding what are indicators and how they react with acid and base, let's solve the two questions we have. The first question says there are three different test tubes and these three test tubes have different kind of substance in it. Let's say the test tube A has distilled water, test tube B has acidic solution, and test tube C contains basic solution. So let's see how it react with blue litmus paper. Okay, so we'll take the blue litmus paper and in blue litmus paper we pour distilled water, right? Similarly, on another blue litmus paper we pour acidic solution and on the third one we pour basic solution. In few seconds you will observe that the blue litmus paper in case of B start changing, whereas there is no effect in case of A and C. So the blue litmus paper changes to red in case of B. So we have known that when blue litmus paper changes to red, it means the solution is acidic, right? So let's move on to next question. The next question says What happened when the stain of curry, or curry you means the sabzi you use, what happens to the white cloth when stain of curry occurs on it, and what happens when you rub it with soap. So, when you rub the stained cloth with soap, so always remember, we know that the curry contains turmeric in it. Okay, so turmeric is a natural indicator which indicates whether the substance is acidic or basic by changing its color. So when we rub it with soap, it changes to reddish brown. Reddish brown color dega. That means that soap is basic in nature. But but when we wash the cloth, what happens? It turns yellow again because the water dilute the effect of soap, or you can say the water diluted the basic nature of soaps, and hence we get the yellow color again. So for this video lesson, these two questions we have done. We will continue the lesson in further video lessons. Thank you.